Good evening. These are the studios of the new center in Dubai Media Incorporated, and here is where I started my professional career 15 years ago. I have always been a firm believer in the importance of evolution without losing sight of one's core values. Today we speak about a retail business that started in 1929 in Florence and shaped itself into one of the most successful e-commerce platforms, a move that had been proven to be more challenging with other traditional institutions. Luisa Via Roma is the outcome of a love story dating back to the roaring 20s when French woman Luisa met and fell in love with her Florentine husband Lido Panconesi. Panconesi was a sport bidding enthusiast. After losing all his money on bets, him and his wife moved to Brazil. Long after they were rich again, the couple returned back to Europe to establish their first hat boutique in Via Roma, Florence. This decade marked a growth in the business of hat making. Coco Chanel, for one, had started her career in the same manner. Women of the age would change up to 3 different hats a day, and it was usually associated with different social classes. However, the trend slowly diminished with the changing habits and lifestyle and transportation. The Second World War marked the start of the demise of the very once profitable hat-making industry. After the war, hats seemed to symbolize conformity and old-school restraining habits, and with this new challenge, the couple knew that they had to adapt to new customer trends and social habits associated with shopping. The small hat boutique expanded into a full-fledged boutique with a factory to produce garments and clothes. The couple had a grandson called Andrea, who is now one of the most influential men in business. This year marks 90 years of success. Here is a small anniversary video that was launched in celebration of Luisa Via Roma. Andrea Panconesi. Panconesi is no stranger to the business and fashion international community. He started as a commercial merchandiser and a fashion buyer. Upon his very first trip to Paris, he was able to discover a Japanese designer that later became one of the most notable avant-garde designers to date. It was Kenzo. And Luisa Via Roma was the first boutique in Europe to represent and carry the brand. This forward thinking was something Andrea Panconesi would be famous for, to the extent that it has become his legacy to date. What's the secret behind the successful Luisa Via Roma edit, and how did the designer's careers flourish as a result, and why? It is important to discuss important milestones and vision of the Chief Executive Officer, Andrea Panconesi. According to Business of Fashion, that named Andrea Panconesi one of the most leaders shaping the fashion industry, Luisa Via Roma reached 4 million hits yearly. This is pretty impressive for an offline store that transitioned quite successfully to e-commerce. Why? Because it anticipated the behavioral change long before retailers did. A strong visionary, risk-taker, sharp businessman, and a courageous entrepreneur that ventured into an unpredictable online terrain. 1999 marks an important turning point for the Florentine boutique that transitioned along with its ethos to become a world pioneer in e-commerce platform. Innovation and technological evolution and adopting a savvy digital marketing strategy were among the main pillars of this successful empire. Panconesi admits that with the introduction of the web in 2 decades, Luisa Via Roma was able to generate 10 times the profit it had achieved throughout its 70 years offline history. Fashion has become more universal, inclusive, and reachable, and Luisa Via Roma mastered the art of satisfying the needs of a more demanding clientele. If you take a look at the most common challenges facing traditional brands and retailers, it is certainly the difficult task of remaining relevant. There is no doubt that technology disrupted the whole ecosystem of the fashion industry by deleting borders and easing accessibility. Easier said than done for businesses established pre-internet. This is how Luisa Via Roma dominated the luxury market, curating the most sought-after collaborations. The Luisa Via Roma experience combines online authenticity, incorporating playlists, expert articles, and an immersive digital experience authentic to the store experience. According to Andrea Panconesi, the use of algorithms is the key in the creation of bespoke advertising experiences for consumers. Another key factor is catering towards building a content-based platform to ensure a successful communication. Luisa Via Roma has been present in charity events, music and art, engaging designers, key influencers with their customers across multiple platforms. Here are some highlights from my interviews with Andrea Panconesi for the past 2 years during UNICEF Summer Gala initiative that was able to raise over $6 billion for underprivileged children around the world. Welcome to Porto. Technology and social media in so many ways has linked people together, but in the fashion industry it sort of created a lot of obstacles for major fashion houses in order to stay relevant, in order to raise their revenues, in order to survive. But Luisa Via Roma is one of the few brands that proved a success story otherwise. It was able to keep its heritage. It was able to communicate with new clientele. It was able to grow all at the same time.
And
what is the secret?
And to remain private. Because
what's the secret?
We are the only one we know within the e-commerce, within my competitors worldwide, that 100% private. Mm-hmm. And I still want to stay this way, simply because of one reason. I want to be able to always get ahead, advance with new projects, with new ideas, and it's a risk, So if you are many people to decide, somebody says yes, somebody says no. With me, if I'm happy, everybody's happy. I'm the one who decides. I can decide on the spot. And if I'm doing something good, I get a lot of benefits out of it. And if I do something wrong and make a mistake, I will learn not to do it again. That's how I operate in my family, in my private life, and in my business. So, answering your question, I'm a very curious person by nature. We started this adventure on web 20 years ago when myself.
When it was still very new.
Yes, it was very new. Imagine Google was in the
stage. Started trusting online shopping only a few years ago. So
well, Google 20 years ago was in the beta stage. It was just starting. Facebook arrived in 2004. So nobody, not even me, knew what I was talking about. In Italy, nobody was using the web because they didn't have infrastructure. The line was very slow. In fact, our site was written from the beginning in English, because the only relevant market was America or Germany or UK. You know, in Italy, nobody. We didn't have any clients in Italy in the beginning. You know, and still now our website is translated in Italian from the English. You know? So it was quite.
And the main visitors obviously are from America.
Well, the major market has always been US.
Yeah.
But this year, for the first time, with my greatest surprise, Italy.
Wow, amazing.
Over than America.
And how do you build this relationship with the clients, I want to call them? How do you nurture this relationship? How do you provide, you know, the beauty for me of boutique or concept store shopping, but online?
Well, that is a very good question, and that is the number one focus that I've always had, you know, because I started myself 40 years ago, maybe even 50, although I'm very young, I'm only 29, but I started 50 years ago in this fashion business. And of course I started with a very small little shop, and I developed it. And, you know, the biggest growth, of course, came when we started this online adventure. And when we started 20 years ago, nobody knew what I was talking about. So the first thing we have done in the very beginning is to put screen in the boutique, in the shop, and to forbid the assistant to get to the stockroom directly. So they were obliged to operate through internet, but through the web, to serve the client. So it was a way to teach our clients how to operate online from the very beginning.
And not only that, what's super interesting about the site is that also it nurtures upcoming talents. Are you looking to support more young designers that are not famous, giving them this opportunity? As we know, it's one of the biggest obstacles that young designers face, is to be able to sell their products.
That is also a very important thing. You know, you mentioning all the important issue in this business. You know, for us being a multi-brand, we are not a department store.
Yes, exactly.
We are not a mono brand.
You're a platform
multi-brand specialty
at the same time.
store, you know, specialty, which is a very particular kind of business. Means that we risk everything, because everything we sell we have to buy ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have any concession or whatever. So from the very beginning, our major important issue was to promote young designers, because this is the future of fashion. Like the future of humanity is kids, and that's why we are doing this for the kids. The future of fashion is young designers. If there is no young designer, new designer, young blood in the fashion, then fashion dies. We have to do our part. You know, we want to have a good balance between the big name, worldwide recognized, you know, Gucci, Prada, Valentino, Dolce & Gabbana, and all this, and the young talented. And we like to mix and match them, not to keep them separate. You know?
From big brands, of course.
We want to give our own interpretation of fashion.
I mean, you feel it the moment that you enter the site anyway.
Yeah,
you definitely feel it.
Which is not getting somebody dressed
head to toe designer.
Design. That you can go somewhere else. You go to mono brand if you want that. You come to us, you want to have a unique, you are the only one who's dressed that way, because you mix and match jacket to the skirt, trouser to the pants, to the shoes, you know, the jewelry, and it comes out more personal.
When most groups abandoned their values and heritage, Luisa Via Roma embraced it even more. The use of live videos and direct real-time consumer engagement through the Buy It First service, the brand was able to cultivate a sense of digital empathy, as Panconesi describes it. What is digital empathy? It's the balance between human and digital, leaving a considerable room for emotions by building loyalty and enhancing connections to a particular brand. Data, and more data. Analytic capabilities enabled luisaviaroma.com to use key market indicators from website and email engagement to analyze purchase behavior by catering personalized content. Moreover, the company implemented a tailored automation strategy aimed at strengthening customer engagement through introducing loyalty programs. This loyalty program had brought forward a 293% return on investment in just 3 months, with returns reaching 16 million euros the following year after its launch. Luisa Via Roma knew that the only way to keep VIP customers was to reward them with quality incentives that represent the core value of the brand. Today, 20 years after the move, Luisa Via Roma makes 95% of its revenue online. Adapting the digital tools is no longer a choice or an option, it is a fundamental need. In addition, Luisa Via Roma adopted an artificial intelligence-driven marketing platform to automate its omni-channel consumer engagement, therefore reducing the cost per acquisition (CPA). This adaptation fills a gap that was once merely filled with newsletters. Luisa Via Roma collaborated with Emercies, that is a large international independent marketing platform, to adapt softwares that strengthen the interactions between marketeers and customers. Moreover, the creation of content relevant to customer lifestyle stages, they were able to automate individually tailored content across 8 languages. Throughout the Fashion and Technology Summit's 5 editions reinforced the power of technology in allowing a dialogue between heritage and the future.